So, you've decided to venture once more into my vaults of eternal damnation, eh? Oh, forgive the noise. My little imps are very playful today. They're extremely excited, you see, as it's one of their favorite sins. Lust. Ah, good old lust. You mortals really do fall for it every time. If it's not money, then cars, jewelry, each other. Oh, I can hear the excuses already. Of course you're guilty. Come on, admit it. You've been naughty sometime. Lusting. It sounds so delicious I could... Let me delve into my catalogue of sinners. Ah, this one is interesting.
Before I start, let me get one thing straight. I love my husband. I love my husband. I love my husband. Does that sound like I'm trying to convince myself? Or just you? But it is true. I love him. We've had a very happy marriage. So I have no excuse. Really? No excuse at all. I first met Tom at school. We were never boyfriend and girlfriend or anything like that. But we always got on well. I mean, he was in the year above me, so we didn't really mix much outside school. Then we both went off to different universities. Tom went to do maths and I went to do English literature degree. We met again a few years later. I was working at a publishing house and Tom came along to do the accounts. We just hit it off straight away. We got married. We've had 3 wonderful children. We've been very happy. A few little squabbles, of course, but nothing very serious. He really is my other half. He's a good father and my best friend. So you see, there was no reason for what happened. I was happy and content. Then I met Dan. I was at work too. Tom was at home looking after the kids and I was out with my friends and colleagues. There'd been some food and later dancing. But I was getting ready to go home. I'd had enough, really. When these 2 strangers came over and asked me and Carla to dance. I mean, I was going to say no. I mean, I'd had enough. I was going to go home. But Carla seemed keen, so I said yes. When we got onto the dance floor, I looked at Dan properly for the first time. That was that, really. I felt like I'd been hit by a sledgehammer. You know, that moment when the world seems to stop. When the conversation around you dims to a meaningless babble. And the people seem to fade into shadows. The only thing I was conscious of was the expression in Dan's eyes. Deep brown eyes. eyes that seemed to see right into my very soul. The rest of the evening went by in a bit of a blur. I just know we formed some sort of foursome at the table. Conversation flowed, but Dan's attention was all on me, as if I was the most interesting person in the whole world. It made me feel very special. And he was interested in me. That wouldn't normally have affected me, but something just clicked. It sounds stupid, but I felt tingles all over. That weekend at home, I was preoccupied. I told myself it had just been the drink and the atmosphere. We hadn't even arranged to meet again. And by Monday morning, I talked myself back onto an even keel. I told myself I'd imagined the whole thing. But on Monday evening, as I was leaving work, he was waiting for me. I mean, we talked about where we worked on that Friday night. He worked in the music industry, he told me. Just managing events, things like that. He also knew I was married. I hadn't kept that fact from him. But I saw him waiting for me. And I got the collywobbles in my stomach. I knew then that this was going to go the whole way. This was the point of no return, where I just forgot about everything else, and I was hooked. I was scared, but I was also very excited. I'm not proud of what happened next. I sort of lost myself in a world of madness. I really don't know how I managed to get through the days at home and the nights. I got very adept at lying, at creating imaginary business meetings so that I could get away to see Dan. I'd always enjoyed the physical side of a relationship, but this was something else. Any time we could meet, we did. Anywhere we could meet, we did. Anything we could do, we did. Remember that old advert about Martini? Anytime, any place, anywhere. Well, just call me Martini Girl. Dan would call and I'd go running. It's like I couldn't help myself. Looking back, I think relationship was too strong a word for what we had. I did start to see the differences in our personalities, in what we thought was important in our lives. I also began to see that Dan was quite egotistical and selfish, but I didn't let myself think about that too much. The physical side of our relationship was all-encompassing. It was the most uninhibited time of my whole life. Do you know, I never thought of leaving Tom. Not for one moment. Tom and the children were my whole life, my world, my family. But I lost sight of that when I was in Dan's company. And I was just there in my little mad dream world. It was bound to happen. Reality struck. I suppose I have to be glad that it struck in the way that it did, really, with no further consequences. I'd left work early in order to rush to Dan's flat. Unexpectedly early, that is. Too early for Dan, anyway. Let's just say, the reality and sordidness of everything came crashing into my world in a big way. He wasn't alone. I saw another version of me there. Sad and needy. I realised the truth of it all, I suppose. Nothing was real. It was all just infatuation and lust. I felt real shame. And this is a shame I can't ever share. I can't tell anyone, and I have to live knowing what I did. Something within me died that day. A loss of my security in the world. It's a loss of innocence almost. And a loss of self. Of who I am. Or who I thought I was. Tom and the children still love me, and I know I don't deserve it. And I'm frightened that because of that, I will try and destroy that love. Because I don't feel that I'm worth it. How can they love me when I know what I did and how I nearly wrecked my whole family? I'll always be guilty. And that guilt will live with me forever. My family will never know what I nearly did to them all. But I'll know. I'll always know.
Did you enjoy that? 2 down, 5 to go. Join me next time. Oh, and try not to be too virtuous. I do so hate it when you miserable sinners are.